members, my name is Michael Kenny. I'm here today with Ryan Giordano, former president of Phi Delta Theta California Xi. I'm going to ask him a few questions about his experience as president and how it helped him grow as a man. So why don't we get started here, Ryan?
All right, sounds good.
All right, so if you could say, what's some of the biggest lessons you've learned, like life lessons, that kind of stuff?
Life lessons, wow. Well, to start you off there, Kenny, I would say one of my biggest life lessons is that you have to have patience in dealing with any kind of organization, namely Phi Delta Theta, because you are going to deal with all kinds of different characters. And as you are now stepping into this role, I would definitely suggest you learn to have patience with these young guys. It's definitely a place for little boys to become men, and during that process it can be frustrating. I definitely sympathize with my parents through my experiences with the chapter, so I look forward to you learning from that as well.
Alright, so going on along that patience line, say you have any one memorable moment where your patience was especially tested?
Patience tested? I'm a pretty patient individual, so I don't know if it was ever tested. Did come close a few times. Gosh.
You ever feel like throwing someone out your second floor window?
I have to say, it's dangerous. I no longer have meetings on the second floor because of that. You have to be careful. Yeah, you know, your time as risk management, you know that you really can't put people in those situations. In terms of my actual patience being tested, I would say that happens from time to time, namely when you know, we make certain commitments as brothers, and it's always good to see brothers follow through with that. When they don't, that often tests your patience. As chapter president, you definitely have to spend some time organizing the group, and so when people fail to meet the deadlines that you set, it can be very, very trying.
Absolutely. Let's say, do you have any other kind of things that make this job difficult?
Wow, that's a pretty broad topic there.
Absolutely.
Let's see, what else makes this job difficult? Well, you spend a lot of time working on campus with the fine administration of CSU Chico. You also spend a lot of time working with the Interfraternity Council.
Sure.
Both of those are places where you have a lot of fun, but you also have a lot of hardships, I would say. In dealing with the university, it's important to always strive to convey the best of Phi Delta Theta, and at times, as I mentioned, you do find your patience tested. It's hard to, in one hand, convey the best for the chapter, and in the other, be facing the reality. But we do our best here on campus. We are a great chapter, and so we are lucky enough that it's not like I have to fake it till I make it. You know, I can represent this chapter, and you know, good things come from that. In addition, I mentioned IFC, also a great place. Fine, upstanding gentlemen of IFC are very welcoming to each chapter president and are willing to get some business done. So that is also a place where you learn a lot about yourself.
Sure.
Absolutely.
So, as a communications major, you had a lot of time to focus on this job.
Indeed.
You know, I'm not a communications major, I'm a real college student. I study business. So you can discern that I might not have that exact same luxury.
I do worry about that, you know. With communications, all you're really doing is watching people talk to each other. So with that, I actually was able to do a better job as president and had plenty of time to study while doing my job. As a business major, you're going to have to commit to schoolwork. Not something that I had to do during my time, which is actually kind of nice. As I start my last semester without presidency, no involvement in the chapter, and just focus on my major, I honestly don't know what I'm going to do with myself. In terms of you, Michael, I think if you schedule yourself well, find time to do your homework, do your actual schoolwork, and also run the chapter, I think you'll be okay.
Absolutely. Any parting thoughts you'd like to share with me?
Parting thoughts? Good luck. You're a brave man.
That.
Brave man.
I appreciate that.
After this break, I'm going to be interviewing Kenny, so you can look forward to that.
I'm Rudy Porchavina. I'm the former president of the General Council of Phi Delta Theta and my past chapter advisor and colony advisor. The Chapter Advisory Board is a group of men who work with our undergraduate chapter leaders, and they provide advice to the treasurer, to the chapter president. They assist the recruitment chairman in marketing the chapter. They're really there to provide assist and advice wherever they're needed. When you first become a Chapter Advisory Board member, we provide you with some introductory information early on. The province president, who's the local regional officer, sits down with those individuals and provides them some pretty intense local training. We have a Chapter Advisory Board Chairman's Summit, where we bring in advisors from all over the country for a weekend of intense training on very specific issues that face undergraduate fraternity chapters today. We know from experience that our best chapters of Phi Delta Theta are the ones that have consistent chapter advisory boards. The greatest benefit to being a chapter advisory board member is a chance to reconnect with what made Phi Delta Theta so special as an undergraduate. Our brothers never really leave Phi Delta Theta. They may leave their campus and move to other locations, but Phi Delta Theta never leaves them. And I think the opportunity to give back to an organization that meant so much to them when they were young is an experience that they will cherish for the rest of their lives. Phi Delta Theta is looking for chapter advisory board members across North America. We have 175,000 living alumni and 160 chapters that need their help. Please go to our website at phideltatheta.org and see what opportunities are available. This is a chance for you to return to college and a chance for you to give something back to Phi Delta.
And you're back with me, Ryan Giordano, the previous chapter president, as well as the newly elected Michael Kenny. We're here today taking the time to interview each other, get to know each other a little bit better, and really set this transition off right. So, if you're ready, Michael, I'm going to go ahead and jump into my questions for you.
Fire away.
All right. Start right off with the position, chapter president. Those are big shoes to fill. What called you to the position?
Well, Jew, you know, I never really saw myself in this position. When I first pledged Phi Delta, I saw myself as a leader in my pledge class, but not the kind of the caliber of man that a person like you was, who I looked up to as our chapter president at the time. But last semester I took an executive position as the director of housing and conduct. And through that experience I really kind of saw that we're going to have a kind of balance of power in our chapter. A lot of the older guys are going to be leaving, and the newer guys needed to step up. And I looked around and I figured, you know, what could I do? I saw myself as a leader in the chapter about midway through last semester, and that's when I really figured this position could be right for me. And I'm really glad I went with it and I pursued it, and I'm enjoying every second of it so far.
You're right about that balance of power. Critics have called it a paradigm shift in leadership within the chapter, so looking forward to see where that goes.
Absolutely.
Thank you. So, within the position, if you could tell us, what are your 3 overarching goals for the semester?
Well, you know, one thing I really want to push is a strong internal management. I feel like every organization needs a strong internal management. You know, one way we're going to try and do that is by rewriting and revamping our bylaws this summer. But I also want to make sure that, you know, next semester we really keep our exec board together, keep our exec board strong. I feel like we've got a lot of potential in our exec board. We've also got a lot of younger guys, so it's going to be tough to balance that potential with trying to find and digging into that potential. You know, on top of that, though, I'd really like to work on our chapter's perception with headquarters. I really want to file a strong and awards packet, win a gold star, maybe get a U Cup from campus. That'd be awesome. I'd really like to see us do that because we've been very competitive in those kind of areas the last few years. You know, in addition to that, it's philanthropies. I'd really like to do something with ALS. Headquarters really look strongly upon us for that. ALS is something that I think is awesome because Lou Gehrig, one of those famous Phi Delts out there.
Absolutely.
Lou Gehrig's disease. And then also, you know, brotherhood. You can never have enough brotherhood.
Never can.
Absolutely not. You know, you told me that the higher the brotherhood level in the chapter is, the easier it is to do this job. So
absolutely.
That's
very true. All right. Well, thank you. So you mentioned risk management. You know, it's come to my attention that obviously you did spend the past semester in that position. How is it that serving as risk management has not scared you further away from chapter president?
Well, I was a really damn good risk manager.
Indeed.
That's the first thing. But in all honesty, I got lucky. I didn't have too rough of a semester as risk manager. But it's definitely a position that kind of shows you some of the more stressful aspects of the chapter. But for me, I feel like I'm a cool, calm, collected person. I field those kind of situations very well. So I feel like that just showed me another reason why chapter president was a good fit for me.
Excellent. Cool and calm. Those are always good qualities to have.
Absolutely.
So, gotta say it, let's talk about the hair. It's been said by many that in order to be chapter president, you have to have hair that resembles one of the Beatles. How do you respond?
You know, the Beatles were revolutionary. There's no doubt about that.
You want a revolution, well, you know, we all want.
Our last 3 chapter presidents now have had some kind of Beatle-esque-ness to their hair.
They have.
You know, you just can't argue with the results. The Beatles get results, chapter presidents get results. The hair is the common line. What else is there to it?
Correlation is causation in this case. I like it.
Damn straight.
Well, moving right along, tell us a situation you've been in that's tested your priorities, and how is it that you arrived at the decision you made?
Well, I really like to think that once I set my priorities, I'm pretty strong with them. So, in a situation where people might get their priorities tested, I kind of just go with what I know is right. I know personally, moral rectitude is a priority of mine. In my life in general, Phi Delt's a huge priority, obviously, as chapter president. But beyond that, I also make sure I get my stuff done in school before I go on my Friday and Saturday nights.
Of course.
It's just the kind of thing that I don't have to think twice about. Priorities are just always something that's kind of ingrained in me. With every decision I make, it's just what's the higher priority, and I do it. I don't have much to think about.
Like the sound of that? I will make a politician of you yet, Michael Kenny.
I'm trying.
So, in your time as housing, you successfully filled the House. I'm pretty impressed with that. What advice do you have for our next housing officer in filling the House? As you know, we do rent the House, and so every year we fill it with brothers, who are willing to take the time and make that commitment to living here. I myself have lived here twice.
Yeah, filling the House is not an easy proposition. You got to do a lot of convincing of brothers. You got to really sell them on, doing what's right for the fraternity. It's kind of tough because, we're in a situation where we rent our house from a landlord. We might not feel like we get the most fair rent price, but, we love this house. This house is a staple of Phi Delta, so we've got to work with it. We work with what we got. It's just the guys being cooperative really is what makes this position easy. So I'd say the best advice you can give is start early on filling the house. This time next year, we should have it filled by now again. But as soon as the spring semester rolls around, the housing guy has to be on top of it. And he's got to have a list of guys who could be in the house, Definitely working with the most recent pledge classes is huge. So it's definitely just getting on early and staying organized. I've got an Excel spreadsheet that saved me a bunch. So
Very nice.
organization and starting early are the two key things.
Organization is key. Starting earlier. I like the sound of that. In looking at the roster for the House next year, it sounds like you called in a few favors. As I am familiar with myself, you are in the Midas family, and I can't help, can't help but notice the entire upstairs of the House is going to be Midas next year. How do you feel that the chapter can benefit from that?
In every way, the chapter will be benefit from having Midas here. Whether it be sorority girls walking in and seeing just a bunch of handsome Midas men, couldn't hurt the chapter at all. Midases do things. Midases they're organized, they're tidy. The house isn't gonna be a mess like all the Sigmas make it. So
Indeed, I know
I
that.
look forward to that for sure.
All right. What do you feel will be the biggest challenge for the chapter having all Midases living in the House?
The biggest challenge will definitely be managing all of the egos that come with Midases. We're very proud people.
All too familiar with that.
Yeah, but I'm not too worried about that too much. That's a very small concern of mine, so that might be the only one,
Okay. Along with that, are you concerned with the negative effects that it will have on our sorority relations?
You know what? When Sigmas and Grizzlies and whatnot start getting jealous, it makes the chapter look bad as a whole. So the only thing I gotta say is that as long as Midas does their job, I just hope the other families don't get too upset by us. Running train basically.
All right. I like the sound of that. So, any inside tips that you can give me now about recruitment for next semester?
Well, we're keeping our secrets pretty close guarded. You never know who's watching these YouTube videos.
Indeed.
But we have gotten a little bit of an early start. We got our wish list ready to go.
Absolutely.
And as soon as next semester rolls around, we're going to start recruiting from day one. So,
all right.
look forward to that.
And I just want to remind our viewers that at any time you can contact our recruitment chairman, Jay Verdee, with any recommendations for Phi Delta Theta. Thanks. So that's all the questions I have for you today. Is there anything else you want to say before we end?
I'd just like to say, I'm excited for this opportunity. This is a great organization. This organization has done big things for years, and we're just excited to see what the next level of Phi Delta will be. You got to transmit the fraternity to those who may follow after, not only not less, but greater than was transmitted to you, and that'll be my goal.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.